I'm going to tell you the 3 books you must read if you want to heal from chronic anxiety. And I've read everything. These 3 books completely changed my understanding of anxiety. So if you only ever read 3 books, make it these. The first one is The Anxiety RX by Dr. Russell Kennedy. Here's what I love about this book. The theme of it is heal anxiety through the body, not through the mind. I think something I liked about this book was that it was written by somebody who had experienced anxiety, not just studied it. So although he is a doctor, he has the lived experience of anxiety. He has a really interesting story about growing up with a dad who had schizophrenia and the trauma that was and how he developed a very severe anxiety disorder. He explains that anxiety is energy from unmet emotional pain, and he calls it an alarm. He calls it an alarm in the body. So he sees it as an alarm in the body versus a mental problem to solve, which is the way anxiety has been framed for us. It's like we need to solve this problem with our minds. And so he's big on helping you reconnect with your body instead of getting caught in those loops of overthinking and trying to fix. He does a really good combination of what I would consider to be like neuroscience and inner child healing. He talks a lot about inner child healing. And then he gives you tangible tools that you can use to tend to that alarm in your body and to tend to that hurt child inside of you. And so it's a unique perspective in the realm of anxiety. He helps you shift your focus from how do I heal this anxiety to how do I meet the part of myself that still feels unsafe. This was a book that I discovered years ago, and I have to be honest that when I first read it, it resonated so much. I thought it was so good. And I was just not in a dark enough place to apply any of it. And so as I've been on this chronic anxiety recovery journey for the last year, no longer dealing with any of those symptoms, I pulled this book off the shelf and started going through it. And I'm like, this was such an amazing book. And I kind of wish I had listened 5 years ago, but it's a good place to start. The second book is called Hope and Help for Your Nerves. This is a book by Dr. Claire Weekes. And it's so interesting because she wrote this book in the 60s. She was way ahead of her time as far as familiarity with the nervous system. And this is really like the nervous system sensitization Bible. It is simple, it is direct, and it is just as applicable today as it was back in the 60s. She has a method that she teaches called floating, and the parts of this process include facing, accepting, floating, and letting time pass. All the pieces of it are really so applicable to the modern nervous system healing. This is a book that was written decades ago and is still just as relevant, and it shows you that this nervous system stuff, the dysregulation, it is nothing new. And the way that our body tries to find an outlet for all of this energy has not changed at all. One of my favorite concepts that she teaches is about secondary fear. And she talks about the difference between primary fear, which is like the actual sensations themselves, and then the secondary fear, which would be like the fear of the anxiety. It's the suffering that we add on top. It's this added layer of now I'm anxious about my anxiety. Now I'm terrified of my fear. So we have this initial jolt, and then we add our panic of our panic. So it's really a way that we sandwich these emotions on top and add a lot of unnecessary suffering to very unpleasant symptoms and sensations. What I love about it is that she reframes anxiety as a temporary sensitization of the nervous system. So not a permanent condition. If you're afraid that this is forever and that you're broken, she is very clear to say, it's just sensitization. Your system is a little too good. It's a little too sensitized. It's a little too sensitive. It's going off at the littlest provocation. And so she really frames it in like, this is temporary. It's just a sensitization. Once it desensitizes, you're going to be back to normal. You're going to be okay. This is not irreparable damage. And that can be very comforting when you are in the depths of what she calls nervous illness. Her tone is very warm and motherly. It's a great audiobook. It has this ability to calm you as you're reading it. And she is really about teaching you to stop fighting your system and stop fighting your symptoms and just allow your system to settle. It's really like get out of the way, let your body do what it has to do, stop fighting, stop resisting, let time pass. I love that, the let time pass part, because we're always watching the clock and we're trying to make things go away as fast as possible. But when you get out of the way, you just know that as time passes, these symptoms, they're gonna ebb and flow. They're gonna go up, they're gonna come back down. And the less attention we pay to them, the quicker they can do that. And then my third favorite book is called At Last a Life. The author is Paul David. This is my number one, you guys. This book shifted something at me. It changed something at me. Like I can remember where I was when I read it. I can remember where I was when I finished it. I can remember the boost that it gave me to my own journey. And there was something about me finishing this book and being like, that's enough. That's enough. I know why this has happened. I know what is going on in my body. I understand it, and it's time for me to apply it. The other cool thing about this book is it's a modern version of Claire Week's book. It literally, they're very, very similar books, but it's a different type of tone. This is, again, a book that was written by someone who went through it, someone who recovered from years of chronic, severe anxiety, not someone who's just studied it, not someone who's just been taught about it. And he breaks down recovery in very normal, relatable language. There's no jargon. There's nothing you wouldn't understand. It's written very practically and very, very straightforward. If you're looking for something that's simple without the complexity, this book is a must read. You must read it. And he also does a good job of going into the very scary physical symptoms and explaining the symptoms and the fear in very plain language. And then, of course, my favorite part of this book is he drives home the truth that recovery comes from allowing, not fixing. I talk about this all the time. It was pivotal in my recovery. This book was pivotal in my recovery, and there was a really big focus on living your life. I think if you struggle with anxiety, that life gets small. You start taking everything where you got a flare, everything that might have kicked something up or aggravated something with your anxiety, your symptoms, any of that becomes dangerous. And so you slowly start saying, okay, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to respond to that text. I'm not going out. I'm not driving. I'm not communicating. I'm not working. And life gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And a big component of this book is you have to live your life. And he speaks so well to the excuses that we as anxiety sufferers really live off of. These excuses that I'm a special case. Mine is worse. Mine is unique. Mine is special. There's so many reasons why I can't do what you're telling me to do. Maybe you could recover, but I can't recover. It's such a common story that we have. And he speaks so explicitly to that. There's something about someone being I've been through this. I've been where you are. I got through it, and I'm here to help you get through it too. And he does a really good job at speaking to the excuses that people have. And you know what? They're excuses that keep you stuck. I fought for a year. I fought anybody who was telling me that things could get better or that I could recover or that things could improve in any way. I was just no, you don't get it. This is different. This is different. And if you recovered, it's because of something special with you or something different with you. Yours is not as bad. Yours is not as severe. Yours is not as this or that. And the only person I hurt in that process was me. I love the fact that it's having this compassionate friend, like a good, straightforward friend who has already walked the path and is listen, you can do this too. If I can do it, you can do it. To the point where the people who write these books are I can't even relate to who I was and those symptoms. That can be for you too. So these 3 books completely changed how I understand anxiety, how it works, where it comes from, what it means about me, and most importantly, that I am not broken. You are not broken. These are temporary symptoms that are caused by nervous system sensitization, and you can heal. Thanks for watching this video, and if you like what you hear, make sure you like and subscribe.